ToddYoungONLINE presents Young Tales. Tales for the young and the young at heart. Today's story, Bulfinch's Mythology, the Mabinogion, Kilwich and Olwen, Part 2. In the days when Arthur's name was still a prayer upon men's lips, he and his companions rose for the sake of one youth, Kilwich, son of Kilwich, who sought to win Olwen, daughter of the giant Yspaddaden Penkawr. But to claim her hand, he must complete a chain of labor so cruel and strange that only heroes or madmen would attempt them. And Arthur swore by the crown of Britain that he and his knights would see them done. So Arthur gathered his mightiest champions, a host of men whose names were sung across all the isles of the north. Kay the fiery-tongued, Bedwyr, one-handed but still unmatched in battle. Walkmai, whom some call Gawain, whose strength waxed with the rising sun. Minu, the enchanter, who could become as smoke or shadow. Si, son of Sinir, who could stand 9 nights in rain or flame and take no harm. Gurhir, Walstat, who could speak the language of every beast and bird. And Kaihir, whose sight pierced the darkness as far as day. And with them rode Kilwich, proud and bright-eyed, his heart burning for the maiden he had never yet held. Each task shall be taken in its time, Arthur commanded, and none shall fail, while Britain's honor rides with us. The first labor was to find Mabon, son of Modron, stolen from his mother when he was but 3 nights old, and imprisoned where none knew. They searched the earth and the sea, but no man remembered him. So they turned to the oldest creatures in the world, those whose memories reach back before mankind. They came first to the blackbird of Kilgree, who had lived so long that when she pecked at an anvil each day, it was worn to dust. Tell us, blackbird, Gurhir said, in the speech of the birds, know you where Mabon, son of Modron, is kept? The blackbird answered softly, I do not know. But I have heard the stag of Rentfear is older than I. So they went to the stag, vast and ancient, whose horns were green with moss. Nay, said the stag, I have seen many oaks fall in my time, but I know not of Mabon. There is one older still, the owl of Quimquali. And they found the owl whose eyes shone like moons. I have seen the downfall of cities and the rising of seas, but I know not of Mabon. Yet the eagle of Gwyn Abri may know. And the eagle said, but when I was young, I struck my claws into the rocks of Llanwyn and wore them down to the roots. I thought I had seen all things, yet Mabon I have not seen. But if any creature knows, it's the salmon of Lynwil, who swims the oldest waters in the world. And they rode to the river. There they found the salmon, great and silver-clad. Yes, said the salmon, I know of Mabon. I have seen him through a window of stone, imprisoned in the deep dungeons of Caerlow, where he has been held since the dawn of time. So Arthur's men mounted upon the salmon's back 3 at a time, and he bore them up the river until they came to the dungeon's wall. And there they heard the cry of Mabon, son of Modron. Who are ye that you call my name? Said Mabon from within. Friends of Arthur, come to set thee free, said Gurhir. They broke the walls of Caerlow, and Mabon rode forth, young and bright as if 3 nights old still, though countless centuries had passed. Thus was the first labor done. Next came the greatest hunt the world had ever seen, for the giant Yspaddaden demanded the razors, shears, and comb that lay between the ears of the monstrous boar Twrch Trwyth, who had once been a king cursed into beast form for his sins. Let me take a minute to apologize for these names. Anyway, this boar ravaged whole lands and none dared haunt him. Then we shall hunt him, said Arthur. Britain herself will hear our horns this day. And from the mountains of Ireland to the shores of Cornwall the chase thundered. Arthur's host with hounds and spears and Twrch Trwyth tearing through the forest like a storm of fire. Where his hooves struck, rivers rose. Where his tusks turned, kings fled on their throne. Fled from their throne. Anyway. 7 chief huntsmen fell before him, and yet the chase raged on. Through 7 kingdoms they pursued him, until at last he leapt into the Severn River, red with blood. There Arthur struck him himself, and Kay plunged into the foam to take the treasures from his brow. The boar wounded them both and vanished into the sea, his tusks gleaming like lightning, but his treasures were theirs. And so the second labor was won. The next task was grim, to take the beard of Dillis the robber, to make a leash for the wolves of Gast-Bremy. Dillis was a giant who devoured the flesh of men and dried their bones in the sun. Ooh. Arthur sent Gwir and Kay to lure him into slumber. Kay roasted a stag upon the fire, and when Dillis came sniffing the scent, he ate and drank till sleep took him. Then Kay took his knife and plucked the beard from the living giant's face. And though Dillis woke and roared, Kay's sword struck him down. Thus was the leash made, and the wolves were bound. Then Yspaddaden demanded the cauldron of Dinwarnach, the Irishman, to boil the meat of his wedding guests. Arthur sent his ship Pereduin with him, and with him went Kilwich, Kay, Bedwyr, and Mabon. They came to, oh my gosh, these names, Dearnach's hall, where he feasted his men and laughed. Thou shalt have the cauldron, said he, if thou canst take it. So Arthur struck him down, and Kay bore the cauldron to the ship, filled with treasure. Well, that was unsporting. That wasn't very neighborly. Anyway, they sailed back across the sea, singing the songs of victory. At last the labors were ended, and Kilwich came once more before the giant's throne. All thou hast demanded is done, said he. Now give me thy daughter. The giant trembled, for his doom was come. Bring her to him, said he to his servants, for I will see her once more before I die. Then Olwen entered, shining like dawn, and took Kilwich's hand. Yspaddaden rose, his eyelids heavy as stones, and snatched a knife to strike. But Kilwich was swifter. He took his sword and hewed off the giant's head with one blow. Ding! And thus the prophecy was fulfilled, that Yspaddaden would die the day his daughter was wed. They buried the head beneath the gate of his hall, that no curse might rise again from it. And Kilwich took Olwen to Arthur's court, where the feast lasted 3 days and 3 nights, and every bard in Britain sang of it. So ended the tale of Kilwich and Olwen, a story of love that conquered giants, of friendship that spanned the mortal and the mythic, and of Arthur's company, whose courage made even the impossible bow before them. From that day forth, Olwen's name was spoken as the flower of love, and Kilwich's as the heart of devotion. And as for Arthur, his fame only grew, till his stories filled the world like the sound of 1,000 horns on the wind. And here's where we end for today. Young Tales is produced and narrated by Todd Young from ToddYoungONLINE. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and join us next time for another story. Thank you for your support.